Bad news. I have acquired a new hobby. I have recently gotten really into making zines. My understanding of what a zine is just a self-published booklet of some sort, usually handmade in nature. If you want to learn more about like the history of zines and all the really super creative things you can do with zines, I highly recommend checking out Bratty Bree on YouTube. I've watched so many of her videos, and honestly, I went down the rabbit hole of her videos, and that's what made me want to start making zines in the first place, so I highly recommend checking out her channel. Before I really fell down the zine rabbit hole, I knew of zines through like the artist community and artist alleys and stuff, and I know people will make zines where they have multiple artists contribute to the zine, and it will all have like the same theme, like Garfield or Hatsune Miku or something. I don't know why those are the two that I first think of as zine topics, but I feel like I've seen those, so if you've made a Garfield zine, let me know. Anyway, zines can be about literally anything. I have a bit of experience with the zine adjacent hobby of junk journaling. I did start junk journaling not too long ago. I have one entirely filled notebook that is very fat at this point because of all of the stuff that I've thrown into it. This is a page I just sticker bombed. This is a page of stuff that I got from going to ColossalCon North. And this is a page that is almost just entirely garbage. So I've been really loving junk journaling, but I was having a hard time doing it consistently because I really like the pages that I do that look good and cohesive. And I feel like so far, to me, zines have been the perfect way for me to express the style of art. So I could just sit here and ramble about zines and why I love them and everything, but I want to show you all of the zines that I've made so far. I actually have a couple that I don't have fully printed out. So after I show off all of the ones that I've made so far, I'm going to print a few more copies of the ones that I don't have and show you what that process looks like. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with my very first zine that I made, which is ironically called My First Sourdough Starter. These are all the printed copies that I have right now, but let's look at the original master copy because I think that's the one that's most fun and most exciting to show off. So I made this in honor of my first sourdough starter, and spoilers, the reason it's called My First Sourdough Starter is because it is not my current sourdough starter. This one is about my first sourdough starter named Mr. Yeast, pronoun she, her, that is very important. Flour and water equals Mr. Yeast because you make a sourdough starter just by mixing flour and water. There's like some more information to know about getting it started, but basically it's just flour and water in a mason jar. This is a cutout from a King Arthur magazine. I have a bunch of those, and that was really useful for making the zine. These cutouts here are from my actual notes from when I was first starting my sourdough starter. You can see here on January 31st, I had fed it at 10 a.m. and it had doubled. And so that's good. I put it in a new jar. I don't take notes like this anymore because I kind of have it down to a routine at this point, but I thought it was really fun to put my actual notes into the zine. The pages are all stuck together. This is a lot more images from the King Arthur magazine. This timetable here is also from my notes from my first loaf of bread that I attempted to make. It didn't turn out very well, but that's okay. I did end up making a lot of bread. I did cookies a lot also with my sourdough starter. That's why that cookie image is here. And so I did use the sourdough starter to make things. But then on the back here we have Mr. Yeast died in November 2025 due to neglect because it got moldy in my fridge when I went to Japan. I really thought it was going to be okay, but it wasn't. But it's okay. She will not be missed because my new sourdough starter, Greg, makes better bread, which is true. I baked a loaf this morning, and it's much nicer than anything Mr. Yeast ever made. So rest in peace, Mr. Yeast, but everyone give props to Greg. So yeah, this is just a look at my first zine. I think it's so cool how it's short, it's cohesive, but it was like just so much fun to use collage and like junk journaling. My iPhone just ran out of storage in the middle of talking about this. So maybe this is my sign to yap less and show more. This next zine I actually made the same night as making the sourdough starter zine because I was having so much fun and I really just wanted to use more junk journaling supplies and magazine cutouts and stickers and stuff like that. So that's entirely what this is. This one doesn't really have a plot so much as I just used a bunch of green things that I had in various magazines and cutouts that I had and stickers. I do like this friendly reminder, Dream. These alpacas are from a Knit Picks magazine as well as some of the other yarn images and stuff. So this zine truly is just an expression, and I just enjoyed making it and having fun and doing things in the color green, which you might know that my favorite color is pink, but green is a pretty close second. Here are the copies that I've made. I've done quite a bit of testing on what I'm able to do with my printer, and some of them aren't great, but this zine obviously needed to be printed in color of some sort. And I think this was from before I had put new ink in my printer. And this one is just printed on green construction paper, so it is printed in black and white, but the paper itself is green. My next zine is probably my favorite and the most important, and the one that I am most excited to hand out and give to people, and that is, I want you to play Riichi Mahjong, because I don't want to suffer alone anymore. So this zine is entirely in honor of me trying to convince you to play Riichi Mahjong. I play on Riichi City. They've got a really cute little owl mascot that can teach you how to play the game. I talk a little bit about how it doesn't matter if you get good at the game, because sometimes it does still just come down to luck anyway. I'm showing that I have a 24% first place streak and a 27% fourth place streak, so I get first and last about equal amounts, but I do have a counted Yakuman, which if you know anything about Mahjong, that's fun and awesome and good. And most importantly, if you learn Mahjong, it opens you up to a whole new world of pathetic men and hot women. Especially my favorite boy, Kaiji. In the part 3 manga, he plays Mahjong and 17 steps, and it's so good. The anime Akagi is also incredible, but not something you can enjoy unless you learn how to play Mahjong. And I don't know if I can say that right there on YouTube, so we're gonna cover that up, but Riichi City has a lot of hot girls. It's like a gacha with hot ladies, so nothing to complain about there. And this is a meme that I made about they don't know I'm in Tenpai, which this is not gonna be at all interesting to anyone that doesn't know about Mahjong, but if you want to think this is fun, learn how to play Riichi Mahjong. I dare you. I have made a bunch of copies of this one in various different types of paper, because I'm really looking forward to giving some of these out at the next anime convention that I'm at. And I don't know, maybe I will get someone to be able to play Mahjong with me. This next zine is really important to me, mostly because I made it when I was having a really hard day. I think this is where zines can really thrive, sharing the honest human experience. This one's called Venting. I just want to, behind it says make something, and that was what I originally wrote down on the paper. And once I had completed the rest of the zine and figured out what the zine was actually about and what my feelings were, I pasted on top of it, be productive. So it says I just want to be productive. But the truth is that I really just wanted to make something. And I don't know, I think there's a lot to go over about that I'm not going to talk about right now, but I think this one kind of speaks for itself. So I'm just going to flip through this one and read it to you. I don't feel like I was productive enough today. Things I did do today: take a shower, go shopping and have brunch with my mom, do a load of laundry, make overnight oats for the week, respond to emails. But I didn't vacuum. I didn't film a YouTube video intro. I didn't cook dinner. Is it okay? Even when I get important things done, if I don't accomplish everything on my list, it feels like I did nothing. We've got some just repetitive writing here that says, I am not worthless, it is not true, I did my best. I am not worthless, it is not true, I did my best. It's okay to not be a superhuman every day, because some days I do feel like a superhuman. I was just a normal human today. And we've got probably valid excuses here: period headache, succumb to cat cuddles, saving up energy for later, nightmare last night. I probably could solve all my problems by vacuuming instead of making the zine. But oh well, I can vacuum tomorrow. And making this zine really did make me feel a lot better, and I did end up being very productive the next day. And I think this is something I'm just learning about myself, that I have bad days and I have really good days, and I need to not let the bad days bother me so much, and I need to remember the important things that I did do, even if I didn't do my top priority things. So I don't know, this one is very raw and very real, and I think this is probably one of my most important zines that I should be sharing. And I do have a few copies of it here on different colors, so this one's a little bit scarier to share, but I hope that if this gets into anybody's hands, that they can appreciate it and understand, and maybe relate or maybe not relate, but at least understand me better. Okay, to lighten up the mood a little bit, my next zine is called I thought my test scraps from making my hand-drawn artist alley signs were pretty, so I turned them into a zine instead of throwing them away. And honestly, this is just so fun. This is so junk journaling. All of these colorful stuff here with the test markings on it are from when I was making my Artist Alley signs. You can kind of see it here. These printed really bad because my printer was out of ink, but I still think it looks kind of cool. But my signs here are all on construction paper that I colored in with paint pens. And these were just my test scraps to check which color paint pens looked good on which colored construction paper. Here I'm saying I don't regret it because it fits the vibes of my handmade products, which is very true. And I've gotten a lot of great compliments on my Artist Alley signs, so this is literally just, I taped in and glued in the scraps from my test pages. I think it's really funny, the ones where I was testing specific words that I was writing. So we've got pause, stick, stickers. And this is just very fun, I think. It's very chonky. Let me just open this up for you because these mini zines are just a single piece of paper folded and cut in a specific way. And just look at that. It's so fun and colorful. And that makes me happy. And that's the point of making zines, right? Just to make something that makes me happy. All of my copies that I've made of this have been in color because I think that's very important to the storytelling of the zine is the fun colors. So these are what the copies look like. They're not as bright as the original, but that's fine. Even on the original, I had some printing fails with these photos that I pasted in, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think that's something very important to know about making zines, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. And speaking of existing, I think that's a good segue into this last zine that I have to show off here. This is 31 Little Things That Make Me Happy, and I made this not too long ago, just the day before my 31st birthday. Honestly, as a way to celebrate the fact that I made it to 31. There's been times in my life where I wasn't sure I was going to make it to 31. So I made this zine and I did all of the black and white text on Canva and printed it out. And then I covered it in stickers. And so we've just got a list of 31 different things here that make me happy. You can look at it and read them all, but I'm just gonna pick out a few of my favorites, like when my cat lays with her arms straight out, or when my other cat flips upside down in my arms when he's cuddling. Very important specific things like 2004 Toyota Camry, very, very important. Wearing cat ears as a fully grown adult, very, very, very important, makes me very happy. And then I thought this was cute. On the back of this one, I said, bonus activity, go through my list and highlight the things that make you happy too, or add your own here. So this one kind of has a little bit of an interactive element, and I do have quite a few copies that I've made here that I'm excited to hand out at anime conventions or something. But also, I do have scans of all of these zines, and I have uploaded them onto my Ko-fi page, and you can download them for $0 or more, and you can get the PDF copy and print it out on your own, and I have little instructions on how to actually fold it. So then you can print your own copy of my little zines. But speaking of how to fold it, there is actually one more zine that I don't have printed out here because I made it entirely digitally. So I don't have an original master copy like all of these. So I want to print that out and show you. And I'd also like to make a better copy and go over my junk journal zine that I made, which are scans of my junk journal. This one's in black and white and it's cute, but I want to print out a color one and show you. So this first zine that I'm going to print is one that I made entirely digitally with a couple of my favorite pictures that I took in Japan. And once I print it out, you'll see something kind of silly that happened with it. Please don't judge my printer setup. It's kind of crazy right now. I just have a Canon TS5120. It was like, I don't know, 150 bucks maybe. It's not the greatest and the ink is really expensive, but it gets the job done. And I can at least write off my ink costs. We're gonna ignore the fact that I'm running out of black ink right now. While I cut and fold this, I'm gonna insert the little TikTok that I made with instructions on how to fold a mini zine. After you print the page, you are gonna fold it in half hot dog style. Make sure you press the edges really well, and then you're gonna fold it in half this way, like hamburger style. And then you're gonna do that one more time and just fold it over again, and this makes all of the pages the right size. And then you're gonna open it all the way up and fold it in half hamburger style this time. and you're gonna cut in the middle, but only the 1 page deep, so not all the way through. So it'll look like this, and when you open it, it will have the slit in the middle, and then you just fold it hot dog style again and squish it together, and then find where the cover is and just fold it so the cover is on the outside, and you are good to go. So something really funny about this zine is something about the way that I designed it when I did it digitally. The cover is on the back, and so I did it backwards, but that just means it reads like a Japanese novel or manga. So I think that's actually really, really cute. And something I've been doing with all of my zines is somewhere on the back side, I will take my little Positively Cozy stamp and stamp it, and then I write the date that I made the zine. And then I write what copy number it is. And I've got a little notepad here, keeping track of how many copies I've printed of each. So this is copy number 2 of my Japan zine. I really love this little happy to be here. This was written on a vending machine, and it's like, wow, that's literally me. I'm just happy to be here. But now I'm gonna print a colored version of this not mini zine, sort of still mini zine, but this is made with a 1/4 size piece of paper, and I have to actually cut it up and staple it together. Harper, are you helping? This did not print double-sided the way I wanted it to, so I guess we're gonna be taping or gluing the pages together, but that's fine. Well, this was much more complicated than it probably needed to be. Well, this one ended up very thick, but it's still kind of fun. So yeah, these are just some scans of my junk journal. This is Hot Summer Cats, and there's pictures of a day that I took Ziggy and Harper outside. This is a page from when I went to a fiber festival with my mom, and that was a lot of fun. This is a calendar that I had made for myself to keep myself accountable and organize what I was making every day before Anime Iowa 2025, I believe. So you can see every day what I had made. This is just some garbage junk journaling with some actual journaling. I talk about a few things in here. You can pause and read if you'd like. This is some more just random junk. We've got receipts, some Crisco vegetable oil packaging that I used in here instead of throwing it away. This is a really fun spread that I made about what I had been watching recently. We've got quite a bit of Nicolas Cage representation there. This is that sticker bomb page that I showed off at the beginning of the video. And this is more just junk journaling, packaging, business cards, a few pictures and stuff thrown in. This is my cat Harper. This is a page that I made after Anime Iowa. I had published my very first YouTube video. These were some actual badge ribbons that I had stuck into the journal. And yeah, it's just a few pages from my junk journal, including the pen test, which is important for every single journal. Honestly, I probably won't make a ton of copies of these because this was a lot, and especially printing it wrong. I don't want to do that again, but this will probably end up somewhere with someone sometime. So I don't know, I think that's something that's really cool about zines, is that there's just going to be one of these, and it might end up somewhere, it might not, who knows? If you want one of these many copies that I've made of any of my original zines, I will have them with me at Des Moines Con. I don't know for sure if I'm going to display them or just like give them to people if they ask. I don't know. And I do have them all available on Ko-fi as digital files that you can print off at home. And I do have plans for a little bit of a bigger, more polished zine that I am planning to sell at my Artist Alley booth. And that's been quite a big work in progress, but I'm very excited about it. So stay tuned for a future video, and I will hopefully be able to show off my big zine that I'm gonna get actually printed somewhere fancy, rather than just me printing little things on single pieces of paper, even though these are a ton of fun, and I'm not gonna stop making mini zines like this. But let me know, have you ever made a zine? I highly recommend you try it. You literally just need a single sheet of printer paper, and it can be about literally anything you want. Just take a piece of paper, fold it up like a zine, and then draw on it, doodle on it, put stickers on it, put garbage on it. You never know what might happen.